Hey everybody, I hope you guys are doing well during this time of quarantine, and I wanted to talk to you today about planting potatoes in addition to showing you a couple of new things that I added to the container garden. So let's jump right into the video. Okay, so what I did here was I added a couple of new containers, which include some radishes, some lettuce, some onions, and I added some more tomatoes. So let me turn the camera around and show you a little bit what I got going on. So here I have a container. It's not very deep, but just deep enough, as you can see here, to plant some radishes. So that's what these are popping up over here. So in this quadrant, I planted some radishes. And then in this quadrant, I planted some spinach. And then all along here, I planted some red leaf lettuce. So I know that it's starting to get a little bit warmer, although we still have some chillier days, and I'm hoping that it won't affect the lettuce and the spinach too much. But if it does get too hot, I'm gonna move them under some shade so they don't get burned. So that's pretty cool to see the radishes already popping up. And if you look real close there, I believe that's the spinach right there. And this is some of the red leaf lettuce. So exciting stuff that happened pretty quickly. I did that earlier this week. The peppers are still doing really well. I added some spikes and I actually fastened them to the spikes so you can see those little green things, and that will help them from the wind toppling them over and breaking them. And man, this one's doing really good. Which one is this one? Does it say? I guess I lost a marker on this one. This one's probably a jalapeno pepper. This one is a serrano pepper, and this is another jalapeno. So they look the same, but this one's doing a little bit better. And this one is bell peppers. And these are the mini bell peppers. So they're doing really good. The only thing I'm worried about is pests. So I don't know if I need to keep an eye out and see if there's anything that's gonna start eating on these guys. But if they do, I'll need to figure out an organic solution to rid those away. Over here I have an additional big tub. This is one of the, I don't know what size this is, but this is one of those really big gallon tubs that you usually store your Christmas decorations in. So we have a lot of those from moving. And I added these two trellises in the back so that way the tomatoes right here can climb up the trellis. And then I included the onions that I actually planted from seed. These are the Wethersford red onions, and they're actually starting to perk up a little bit since I've planted them in this bed, so they're doing good. And then in addition to that, I added all right here some bulb onions. So I did some yellow and some red onions. You can see this one's starting to sprout here, and then this one just popped up the other day, and here's another one here. So the onions are doing pretty good as well. Now, I will tell you that there was a huge disappointment. I don't know if you guys have seen my post on Facebook, but I posted Pear Bear and all the beautiful blooms and the leaves that Pear Bear has sprouted recently. But unfortunately, we had to move Pear Bear because we were moving out of our house to the new location, which I brought him here. But he actually got some leaf damage along the way because it was a long trip. It was like a 50-minute trip, and the wind just kind of tore him up a little bit. So that was a huge disappointment, but certainly something that I couldn't avoid. So I'm hoping that Pear Bear will bounce back, but let me show you the damage of what wind can do to your plants. So you can see these were the leaves that I actually took pictures of and posted on Facebook, and the wind just whipped them so badly that they browned from the damage, from the beating, if you will. So that really makes me super sad. The good news is that at the top it wasn't as bad. You can still see some of the flowering there, but down below is where it got the brunt of the wind damage. So I am told that these guys do bounce back pretty quickly. So fingers crossed, Pear Bear is gonna be okay. Okay, so let's talk about planting potatoes. So I've done this once before last spring, and I used a container. So this is the second time that I'm doing container planting with these potatoes. This time I'm using a much smaller container. This is a 10-gallon. I actually kept the sticker on here so I know what size it is, only because I didn't want to plant a bunch of them. As you know already that I'm very limited on space, so I do want to at least try. And what I purchased here was from Tractor Supply, and these are blue potatoes, so they're kind of purplish, which is kind of fun. That's all they had, honestly, but still fun nonetheless. This is a 3-pound bag, so I don't think I'm gonna be planting all of them. but I want to at least get them in the ground as soon as possible before it's too late. Last year, what I experienced in my container garden with the potatoes and the timing that I planted them is we had a lot of rain, and because of that they were starting to get a little soft, so I had to pull them out a little early. So my potatoes, although they were Yukon Golds, which are typically a little smaller, they were like this big. They weren't very big. So I'm hoping that this year a lot of the rain has already passed and I can get started on growing some huge potatoes. So let's jump right in. The first thing that I need to do with this container is I need to cut holes in the bottom. Now, typically what I would do is have a drill set and I would drill the holes. It'd be super fast and super safe. But this time, because we accidentally packed our drill bits, we have the drill but not the drill bits, I have to do it the old-fashioned way. The safe way to do it is to put some gloves on, because the last time I did this, my finger went through the box and sliced it up, so I don't want it to do that again. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use a knife and some scissors, and I'm going to cut some holes. So let me get started on that first. Awesome. Okay, I have my holes. Let me show you what they look like. Nothing too fancy. I had to use a knife to slice, get through the plastic, and then I use this to actually turn through the hole and make it a round, nice hole. So if you use a knife all the way through, it'll just slice through and you'll have a big old cut instead of a hole. So kids, don't do this. I recommend a drill bit for sure. Okay, now that I have my holes, I'm gonna add some of my dirt, and I have a little bit left over. This is not organic. I'd love to be able to use organic soil like most people, but right now this is the best I can get, so Miracle-Gro it is. So this is the potting mix. You want to use potting mix. You don't want to use topsoil or any other type of all-purpose soil. The potting mix has a lot of the stuff that you need in order for it to thrive, especially if you're going to be seeding, okay? They need that soft soil that's full of nutrients. So let me dump this bag in. I need a little bit more, so I have another bag here. So let's get started a bit more. Okay, so here I have my soil. Now let's open up the potatoes. This is really easy, you guys. Anybody can do this. You can do this on your patio if you don't have a big space. Container gardening is totally doable. Obviously, I'm having to do it myself. As much as I'd love to do in-ground gardening or raised bed gardening, I just don't have the ability to do that right now. So many of you may be in the same situation. So this goes to show you that container gardening is totally doable. Okay. So we have our potato here. You'll notice here the eyes have grown, which is what we're looking for, because this is where the plant is going to start sprouting its leaves. Now there's a couple of methods of doing this. You can actually bury the whole potato, or you can cut the potato in half and actually double your efforts in growing potatoes if you have multiple eyes on here, as long as you have like about 2 eyes on each piece. Now I'm not going to be able to cut them because I really don't need to plant any more than what I have space for, so I'm just going to bury the whole potato. Now, according to this, if I recall, let's see, it says about 4 inches from the top. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick my hand in here, slip the potato in there, and bury it. And I'm just going to keep doing that with the rest of these potatoes. Interesting. This looks like a potato with no eyes. It's as hard as a rock. It almost looks like a rock. I wonder. I think I totally paid for a rock. Watch yourself on that. Okay, so now I've planted 6 potatoes. I got 1 little potato left. I'm just gonna leave in here because I only have 1 left. And I'm gonna top this off just a little bit. All right, our potatoes are planted. It's that simple. You can see nothing fancy going on here. You bury your potatoes, you water them good, and you sit and wait like you do with everything else. So thanks again for watching. I will probably try to slip in here another little splice of video and show you how the progress on our new house that's being built is looking. So in the meantime, have a good one. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video as much as you can. If you know somebody who's bored at home but wants to garden and doesn't have the ability to get out of the house, this is a great way to live vicariously through other people. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.